How many of you are there?
5.
5. Oh my God. I'm up against 5 of the Velo Kings today at Alviso. So I got my work cut out for me. And how am I gonna beat 5 of these guys? It's gonna be hard, I'm not gonna lie. Make sure that only one of them gets away in the breakaway, because I'm not gonna be able to prevent all of them from breaking away. I can't chase 5 guys back. It's hard at Alviso to stay away the entire race. Out in the wind, strong chasing field. If one of them gets away, I can chill, sit in, and then ideally that one guy gets brought back towards the end, and then I'm fresh. I can respond to the counterattacks and hopefully still have enough for the sprint. Wish me luck. All right, so you heard the plan. We're back out here at Alviso. Me against EJ's new team. This is the Velo Kings. They're super fun. We had such a good time. We rolled out together, 5 of them at Alviso. I just love how they have elevated this race. It is fast out here now, you guys, especially when you got these big teams showing up. So like I said in the intro, I cannot respond to every one of the counterattacks, but right here when Mark goes, I have to respond to Mark. Mark is like the one rider you cannot let solo off the front. This is how he wins races. This is how he's won districts, maybe nationals. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. But anyway, he's one of these guys who can ride at 28 miles an hour for the entire race by himself. And when he goes, he goes. Look, guys, we're going 36 miles an hour. These are like almost sprint numbers. But the good news is, just check it out. We get this little gap. If you look behind in the rear camera, like pretty serious gap, actually. And we have Timmy here, too. I'm going to try to skip one pull here. Try to force Mark into closing that gap down to Timmy. That was a hard effort I made just to jump across. And I want to just force Mark to do one more here. But then once he finishes his pull, gives me the elbow flick, I oblige, put my head down, and lay down some power, because I'm happy to trade pulls with Mark. If you guys remember from last week's Alviso, Mark's willing to work, for sure. And this is a situation where if he continues to work, I continue to work, and we establish this quick breakaway on like lap number 2, I could potentially isolate Mark from his teammates. And I'll tell you what, it's easier to go against one Velo Kings rider than 5 Velo Kings riders. But I opened a gap instead, and it just, like, it's frustrating because I think we had the right composition. The beginning of breakaways, guys, it really takes cohesion, and you really have to fall into rhythm, like, immediately. And we did not do that, so we immediately get pulled back. It doesn't take long. You mess one rotation up, and you get pulled back. And there goes the very predictable counterattack by Velo Kings. And this is Matt. He goes next, and he's probably the second most threatening Velo Kings rider to be able to solo off the front from this distance. So this is not ideal by any means, but I need to pick my battles here, you guys, or else I will just ride myself into the ground if I try to chase back every single one of these counterattacks by Velo Kings. All right, so we have Matt from Velo Kings off the front. He's solo now, and yeah, this is less than ideal, but like I said in the intro of this video, this is actually according to plan, right? We're early on in the race. I want him just to establish a gap by himself, dangle solo off the front for as long as possible, and then later on in this race, basically as late as possible in this race, just go nuts and bridge across solo or bring him back at the last possible moment so I can ideally win the field sprint from that position. So with all that said, I have dropped back here into the cheap seats of the peloton, maximizing my draft, when all of a sudden something completely unexpected happens. Mark goes off the front. That's right, Velo Kings Mark goes off the front. But wait, you're thinking, Jeff, don't chase teammates, right? And yes, in like 95% of the cases, that's true. But Mark saw that I was out of position and capitalized. Very smart move by him. I am not sure why nobody followed him. He's state champ, strongest breakaway rider in this field, etc., etc. But, you know, that's what happened, and off he went. So by the time I made my way back up to the front, got back into good position, Mark already made it up to Matt. They're already coordinating pulls, and they already have like a 10 to 15 second gap. Now, this is not according to plan. That's why I immediately start with this really hard pull, because this is a really critical moment in the race. I take this hard but very smooth and consistent pull into the headwind. Look, I'm not trying to solo bridge across. I am just towing the field here as smooth and consistent as possible. And Velo Kings did such a good job here, just messing up the chase.
Velo Kings isn't going to pull you guys. You need to know that, right?
And it's so frustrating because people kept following Velo Kings thinking they were going to like chase their teammates or something, or maybe they just didn't know that that Velo Kings had 2 riders up the road. Hard to say, but in any case, just want to commend Velo Kings again on doing such a good job mucking up the chase in support of their 2 teammates. Like, not physically blocking, but just infiltrating the rotations, disrupting the rhythm.
Hey guys, Velo Kings isn't going to chase their teammates.
And I did my absolute best. I normalized something like 350 watts in the middle part of this race when we were chasing, which is just about all I have for the record. I just needed a little bit of help from the field and the other teams who missed it in order to chase back those 2 riders. Look, I wish I had the 425 watt FTP, but I am not that guy. That is not the case. Gonna keep training. See, maybe one day I'll have a 425 watt FTP. That brings us into the last lap with just over 2 kilometers to go. Here we are. I've dropped back, given up on the chase effort. I'm at the very back of the field saving energy, but it's time to try to nab that 3rd spot on the podium. The first thing we need to do is start moving up, because now we're just inside of 2.5 kilometers, and yeah, not a whole lot of time to waste. But like I've said before, moving up when there isn't control in the field like this is usually pretty easy. When there's a big team on front and they're leading it out, you don't want to start at the very back of the peloton like this, because it'll be really hard to move up when it's single file going 35 miles an hour. But like I said, that's not the case. So I'm going to move up as efficiently as possible. Some pointers on how to do that, by the way. The first one is, you notice I'm moving up right there. I just moved up a few spots at like 150 watts. I'm using some more energy here, but the point is continue pedaling. Like, don't use brakes. If you can avoid coasting, and just continue. Even if it's 200 watts here, I just moved up like half of the field in that one section, and I probably averaged 200 watts or something like that. Now, I'm behind the Velo Kings riders. I know they're fresh, right? Because there's still 3 of them in the field. This is EJ to the right. And they haven't been chasing. They haven't been doing anything because they have 2 teammates up the road. So I know that they're going to make it pretty fast for the finish. At least I assume they're going to make it fast for the finish. That's kind of my second tip is identify the riders who are field sprinters themselves, or are fresh because they don't have a teammate up the road, or maybe they just have a bunch of teammates surrounding them. All of these things are strong indications that they're going to have a really powerful, fast finish, and they're going to get you into the right position. I'm on the right-hand side of the road there. That's not by accident. That was a left-to-right crosswind section. So I guess we'll call that number 3 on the list of things that help you move up in the end here and save energy. Is be very mindful of the wind. Now, this is a headwind. This is usually a pretty good spot to move up, but you can see the Velo Kings riders are now taking the front, and they're going to start making it kind of fast. And I don't want to get in front of them. For the reason I mentioned before, is they're going to keep things fast. I want to stay behind them. So actually, I probably shouldn't have given up this wheel, but San Jose rider is looking pretty strong, pretty fresh. He is going to be making it fast. I'm setting myself up on the inside here, because once we make this right-hander, it goes from a headwind to a left-to-right crosswind. Want to always be protected from that wind. Wind is our enemy. It's the primary force that slows us down on the bike, assuming there's a flat road. So if you can get shelter from the wind, all the better. This is a bigger rider in front of me. Amazing. He's strong, amazing shelter from the wind, and he's giving me some space to his right. So you can see there's a battle going behind me in the rear camera. I'm not having to deal with that. And that's because there isn't much room to my right. People aren't going to fight me for this wheel in front of me, and there isn't really room on my right for people to come up underneath me. Once we finally make it out to the left a little bit here, we're already setting up for this corner. Now, 500 meters to go. I'm 5th wheel. This is just about perfect. I've mentioned that before. For every 100 meters, a general rule of thumb is for every rider in front of you. So we've hit the tailwind now, and we're 350 meters to go with the strong tailwind. It's important to go early. I see that Velo Kings is organized on the front. Once this rider on my right goes, I step on it. We can go early in the tailwind, guys, just like I did at the Golden State race. It's important to come across those front riders with some speed, get that slingshot effect going. And by the time I'm up to speed, because of the tailwind, I'm going already 42 miles an hour. It's going to be really hard for people to come around me. They're going to have to go at least 43, 44 miles an hour. And with just 100 meters to go, there's just not enough time, even if you are going that fast, to make a pass. So I'm able to lock up 3rd, but that's just it, guys. This was only for 3rd. Velo Kings showed us how to race as a team, taking down the 1 and 2 spots, the team time trial up front by Mark and Matt. Congrats, guys. Well-earned win by Team Velo Kings. And as always, thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.